Okay. And that was an overreaction of what I felt a few minutes ago. Because I thought I missed my class because I didn't have class and I did set a timer, but then I was like, okay, wait, let me just sleep more, and then my backup timer did not turn on. That's just me. Okay. Welcome to the segment that everyone loves, and I'm kind of enjoying why I kind of like it. It is I, Editor Nathaniel, day 15 Editor Nathaniel here. Well, from the future, I know. And I'm going to figure out what my favorite song was. Listened to, if anything, this. It's probably this video. Make 'em look. Hello, as you can tell already, I've already read a little bit of this. Notably at the start of this, anything that I really say about this is how I go about reading an article. Being isolate, also, address it, bro. I feel like if I talk a lot, I just like all the goes through my vocals, and I'm like, oh. Is it a virtue to believe the right thing if that thing is actively harming your community? Is it an arrogance to believe that our personal opinions must be valued above everything else? Wow. But okay, let me just go up here. I'm gonna share my thoughts, and that's great. And I think that's what the practice of this piece is. For me, when I restrict myself, it's a lot of the idea that I don't want to say I have all the power and saying this is the right thing. I think how I think about things and how I talk about things is how my brain thinks right now. And if I'm leaving any information behind that, is that I am being uh, a nitwit about it. A lot of this is just mentioning like, oh, what is a narcissist? And it's an inflated sense of self-importance and need of excessive admiration. So it's almost like an elevated ego and just believe that they should be right in a sense. And then I was like, okay, what is also preamble? It is an introductory statement that outlines. Well, no, this is the United States Constitution preamble. Maybe the preamble is like the title. See, it's like I don't. And Adam Grant was mentioned in the comments. Overton window problem, which I think is interesting. If this means it's something governmental or politically acceptable to the mainstream population given time. And then Braver Angels was also mentioned, which is like, oh, a conservative voter thing. And I don't know why I'm trying to cover every base. Just know I like to cover every basis, whatever I'm trying to think in the moment type of way. And then be wrong. Okay, let's get started. I would not say it's so much of an article as it's more so a blog. I haven't researched into the idea of what the preamble is, The preamble, as mentioned, just searching up, it's like the United States stuff, so this is relating to people in the United States with that in mind. Also account for when this was made, July 31st, 2024, marked a significant political events including elections, international summits, and notable protests across the globe. I'm sorry. Yeah, kidding. Um, maybe this. Supreme Court conservative majority in July, handing Trump a gift, ruling he has presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for some of his acts in office. President Joe Biden criticized the ruling at the time as a terrible disservice to the people of this nation. Both of Trump's federal crime clauses have been dismissed in the wake of his election win. After Trump's election win, some Democrats blamed that stinging loss on Biden for withdrawals so late in the game, preventing the party from having a proper primary campaign. Biden nevertheless continued to maintain that he could have defeated Trump. He had finished that campaign. Trump was the target of two attempted assassinations during the campaign. The first happened in July as he delivered a speech at the Pennsylvania rally. A shooter fired several rounds at Trump and into the crowd, grazing Trump's ear and killing a rally goer. Secret Service agents then surrounded the former president and rushed him from the podium. The sight of Trump bleeding from the ear, his fist raised in the air, was hailed as a defining image of his candidacy. In September, there was also a second attempt on Trump's life at his golf course in Florida, but he was not injured. A suspect, Ryan Roth, was later arrested. Roth has pleaded not guilty to 5 federal charges, including attempting to assassinate a presidential candidate. And then come on. In the article now, it gives an example of blue cheese. Blue cheese can be anything. Group A believes that the blue cheese is unethical. It is something that, when you see at face value, is moldy and disgusting and an infection to people. So they try to put it onto people. And I think, let's say it's the king, right? The king is group A. So medieval times, let's say the king beliefs are like, man, I hate cheese. I'm allergic to cheese. We're gonna ban cheese. And he believes in that. He believes it's the best in his priority so he doesn't die as a king. Versus people in his kingdom who thrive and live for cheese because he's the mice king. Then it's sort of like, oh, we really love multi cheese. Like, oh no. But then group B are, I would say, the people who work alongside the king that don't like moldy cheese and believe that, hey, um, that is terrible. And anyone who also is from group A or the king side, like his wife or the kids, believe that they associate with him that way. So they go in an outbreak or something. When Group B finds out that someone is part of Group A, they are mocked, excluded, called out, and the recipients of nasty social media comments or otherwise held to account. The only correct belief is that Group A is evil. Yeah, okay. So it's sort of like they just shun away and believe the idea that, hey, the kids and the mom are terrible. So we should associate with them there because they are part of the king's ideology that blue cheese should be a threat to society. Whereas when the mice in group B that work alongside and have similar power, they're like, blue cheese is actually good. Here are some things that we believe. Not to say that group B is also good, because with that in mind, it causes a lot of uh, notice from group A being like, oh my gosh, these people also with almost equal power, not equal power, but just like power as well, feel that I am wrong and I am not wrong. So in that sense, it brings out uh, terrorist attacks and planned political violence across them, and it clashes with the people who are at the top to be like, oh, blue cheese is good, oh, blue cheese is bad, oh, while the people on the bottom just watch and suffer or try to and have no say in the power in what they're trying to do. And then a scientist rat talks about that, guys, let's settle down and let's all go to therapy. Besides now the metaphor of hats, and besides the metaphor cheese, in Group A and Group B a little bit. I think it's interesting that both Group A and Group B are both non emotionally inclined to understand their impact when it comes to what they feel their conviction leads them to into proving something is right and more or less morally right than the wrong impacts and affections that could come over time. And I think also narcissism leads to a narrow mindset. And maybe that's what it's been said here. Not just sensitive to criticism, but just, yeah, like a narrow mindset where you're so narrowed in on one thing that you don't think about the other things as a whole. And that obviously is jargoning to many at first if you're not someone who likes to do like research or tries to like put a lot of their effort into figuring out like, hey, is this something that should be considered in that time, or when you're in just a big room trying to like figure out like, okay, who has the amount of weight in the matter in saying something when you just entered. So that's what it might feel like when I go to the classroom, like, ooh. But it's those types of things where you should not forget is a thing. Moral narcissism is at the heart of the culture wars, the rise of hate groups, and the resurgence of racism and xenophobia. I forget what xenophobia is. Fear, hatred, or prejudice against strangers or people perceived as foreign. It contributes to addiction, to crime, to the mental health crisis that plagues us. So this part. Moral narcissism is not normal. It is new. I feel like in this context, it feels like it's talking about the media space overall of moral narcissism. I think it doesn't talk about the implication of moral narcissism back then. And sure, probably there wasn't documentation about what moral narcissism was back then. But I think we have to label what back then is to then understand if it's new or not. That's why I feel like this is more of a blog, because it doesn't cite as much detail into this as it more or less tries to ease in the reader at the start to get to what their point stands, whether if it is uh, one side or another side. It's not constrained to one political party. This is not how humans have coexisted in societies for eons. That's a stretch. I don't know. For me, it feels like that's a stretch. I could be wrong again. I think this is not how humans have coexist. I can imagine people have coexisted like this. I think moral narcissism is like a subsection, obviously, of with your morality. Principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. A particular system of values and principles of conduct, especially when held by a specified person or society, the extent to which an action is right or wrong. Intention, decisions, and actions into those are proper or right, and those are improper or wrong. Morality can be both the standards of principles, blah, 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 morality isn't fixed. What's considered acceptable in your culture might not be acceptable in another culture. Geographically, regions, religions, family, and life experiences all influence morals. However, there are several theories that have gained attention over the years. Freud's morality and the superego. See, we love ego. We love the superego, ego, and the id. Oh, yes, I'm the Sigmund Freud person. Moral development, yes, either the and Pigment's theory of moral development. Oh, we love Jean Piaget. I'm a Jean Piaget person. Oh, B.F. Skinner. Oh, B.F. Skinner. Oh yeah, all way, all day. Kohlberg's moral reasoning. Ooh, and then gender's difference. What is the basis of morality? There are different theories to how morals are developed. However, most theories acknowledge the external factors, parents, community, etc., that contribute to the child's moral development. These morals are intended to benefit the group that has created them. And with that in mind, I think what I find interesting overall is not just this article, but the fact that when it comes to like reading something like that, it's the connection of what you can expand upon from that. And this is what the feeling I'm feeling right now. I was like, oh, an example of this is I think I would argue that this is not how humans have coexisted in societies for eons. I would say people have coexisted like this for eons. And it proves from this, not just from the perspectives here, or saying this is like a scholar thing, but geographically, regions, religion, family, and life experiences all influence morals. And whether or not those morals are a moral ego hit, where it's like moral narcissism, I think everyone is a narcissist in the start of their lifetime. They don't know whose opinions they should trust yet. They believe in something that is either safe to them and trying to give off, hey, um, this is my favorite thing, right? If a kid was fighting over another kid's toy, it's sort of like that preamble of, that was just out of nowhere, of, hey, this is something that belongs to me, and reasonably so, something that I enjoy, and I'm taking it away from you because it's my thing. Versus the other thing is like, it's not mine. But otherwise, you can't say that truthfully. It's very opinionated, this part. And people has been deeply interdependent. So like I got dependent upon one another, mutually dependent. Versus narcissism. The distinction between interdependence, and narcissism is crucial in understanding human relationships. Interdependence is a healthy dynamic where individuals contribute their unique strengths and resources to support each other, fostering cooperation and trust. In contrast, narcissism is characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, lack of empathy, and the tendency to exploit others for personal gain. While some narcissists may exhibit traits of interdependence, the core difference lies in self-image and the way individuals perceive and interact with others. I really think interdependence or narcissism benefits a lot to companies, and that would be like Group A, where they have to be in the limelight in face value for an audience to grow in revenue and stocks for to stay relevant. Whereas Group B would be the people who work under that company and have to live with those alignments still in that area, but also it comes to the people who are also part of Group B, who believe in this idea that the people in the company that exist part of the Group B were entering it into Group A to be a thing. So if I had to say, simply put, this is Group A, let's say this is Big Nathan Corporation, and everyone in Group B is like individuals. From, oh, I want to work at Big Co because they have cool things, and then you have to look at like what they're known for, what they do, and then you get into it, and these are like still the other people. And now Group B is separated from each other from the outside perspective and then the inside perspective. And the Big Co has a lot of secrets and it has a lot of like actually strong virtues of what they think that the people would like and people would enjoy. But then Group B on the outside doesn't know that. Group B on the inside knows that. But they all sign NDAs. First of all, I just want to take a minute just to appreciate the car that I parked, not next to me, but like in front of me, that is on the left. Okay, that was appreciation done. Okay, anyhow, I have breakfast. This is my breakfast. It is a ham and cheese, it's a breakfast sandwich. Got that, and then I got big chocolate chunk of milk. Really good. Okay, currently it is 9:57, and yeah, no, my day was pretty good. I read, and I just need to dial down on the talking now. I think my expectations for today are attend my social class, law and ethics, see how that's like. I have no initial interpretations of it or like feelings for it. I'm just like, wow, this is a class I would take, fine. Like in a good way. I'm like, I like to write, I like to I research stuff without the care of like being like this whole thing as like a job. I think secondly, go to accounting, figure out where accounting is so I can nudge them, hey, please, I need to know what they do for my dad can get stuff going. And then work on cleaning my house and doing my assignments. Hopefully all in a timely manner. Okay. Let's go. You're like, what? Okay, wait. First of all, every time I do like anything, it is cringe. It's cringe. And I'm sort of just like, I'm kidding. No. I will give you a brief rundown of what my day has been from here to my car. What do you mean by that? Well, I mean, this is my timer right now. Me recording this. I will talk about how my day went as of today and while I drive back to my place. So, in general summary, I took my media and ethics. It's not law and ethics. I think I've been saying that to like someone that you will hear in the story later. Media and ethics. And that is something that is interesting. I got to see Adrian, who's on my team, Alice, who's not on my team, but I was like, oh, that was cool. And also Steve, which was cool, so I sat next to him. Also Hunter's on my team. I didn't know his name during that time, but then I noted his name because I met him later. You will hear in the story. So I did that class, and Suzanne, no, that's not a Miko. Is that the Miko? I don't know. I'm like, is that the Miko car? It moved. So I did the class and learned about moral narcissism, and honestly, how in-depth I went about it, I don't have to go that in-depth about it. It's just a generalization. How the class framework was you would write on the board what are some good things to know when you are listening to people, and then that connected with moral narcissism, with the way that the morality of narcissism goes. Do not quote me on this, but just if I recall it or not, is your belief in something is the right thing, and you go for it no matter the side effects or the bad things that happen in your life or in anyone else's life. Like, you just go for it because it's what you really believe in doing. It's almost like conviction, but it's the arrogance and the ego behind it that is your morality, your moral grounds for it. Then believing in other people that are influenced by it are also checked. They are not checked. It is just that ignorance behind it. Okay, then we watched TED Talk videos about it, and at the end we went into small groups and talked about questions about it. And overall, it's very, not like introvert-y like. It's a lot of
it touches a lot of topics that can be hard to express, and a lot of people in doing it. So that's why I wanted to just listen and be an introvert about it at first, just to see who more eloquently talks, which is not just how I work. I just like to see who is the one who usually talks, when not, so I don't overstep my boundaries in talking over other people. And I think that it was fun. Either way, after I left, I went to the team space again, and I was talking with Isaiah and then Adrian about their plans for the team, which I think is fine. Then I won't discuss anything too under the hood with like team stuff, but I will be like transparent in being like, this is who I've talked to and how what we did. We talked about that. Then afterwards I saw Paul, which that was cool, and I just went over him and I just talked with him. And then I also met Brian, and that was cool, and then I talked with him. And then during that time, I needed to make sure I got accounting stuff accordingly. So I did that. I went up in person, I went down there, and I did a walk-in, and I talked to Johnny, that's the guy in accounting. He expected me, of course, because I saw my name tag as well. And he said the amount of number I needed. So then I walked back up, and that's great. And I said that to my dad, that's awesome. And I saw Paul there, and Brian. And then while they were doing that, my dad sends me the invoice of the accounting person's like, hey, here are the amount of credits. The credits were wrong, which is not bad. It's just like, oh my gosh, I have to take a consideration again. So I go back, I go in my little corner, talking. And then I talk, and then Suzanne was there, and she was like, as well, like, you seem very familiar. And it's like, no, I'm just guapo. I'm kidding, that's kind of weird. No, I just had a recognizable face, like, where was your team space? And it's like, okay, my team space was here. I worked on the Barton game. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand. And so that's great. And then she left. And then I went back to the spot where Brian and Paul was. Paul was just only there. And afterwards, me and Paul just talked. And mostly we talked about MMOs, like League of Legends. Not like hero shooters like Team Fortress 2. I think I played more of those than like the MMOs. So he introduced me to Deadlock, which I was cool. And I might be playing that. If I'm playing that, then you'll see gameplay of me playing that. Then after that, I also saw Jax. Jax stopped me because that's when Paul left, and it's like, oh, hello. And then I was going to change my perforce thing, but then I never did. And then I entered a design meeting, which I was talking to Isaiah and Hunter and Tyler. I also got sucked into Tyler playing his first gameplay of Skyrim, which was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So I got to see that. And I also saw Kieran. Kieran's also there. And after that discussion, people started leaving. That's great. And then they were waiting on Nina, which Nina never showed up, but she was going to be available at 5. Then after that, I saw Rosie. And I saw her work on League of Legends VFX stuff, so that's cool. And then I told her I like anime stuff. And she's like, that's cool. And after that, she showed me some Demon Slayer VFX, but it was mostly Niagara, so I was like, okay. Otherwise, and I also talked about my independent study tour, so that's cool. And look, we made it. Wow, and that was a whole day for me. That's great. I also ate food. I ate a steak pasta with asparagus. That's about it. Summed it up. What I imagine now I'm gonna do is I'm going to probably edit the video, then work on my stuff. I also hopefully, yeah, okay, it's in my bag. I'll hopefully show what I've done with my to-do list, because I think that's very cool and I want to document that overall. And I'm going to clean and I'm gonna wash my clothes, and I'm gonna do everything. We're popping off. We're gonna make this an A tier. Maybe you're not. I don't know. If I feel it that way, then I'm productive. Hey, cause I'm productive. Hey.
Alright, so make sure you check your credit cards and pay your bills.
Okay.
Alright. Love you.
I mean, did Mom want to say something?
Mom's probably eating. Let's go check what she's doing.
Okay.
Wait, I'm gonna say something. You know your mom has to say something. You know you're her favorite son. Any job fairs you're attending?
There's no job fairs as of this week because everyone is caught up doing census stuff.
Okay. When does typically appear? October? November? December?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So if you haven't done so, clean up your portfolio.
I don't even have a portfolio. That's why I'm taking this class.
Okay. Hey, if it's help me, you do what you gotta do, man.
I will say no one has a portfolio, I would say. So it's like, oh, okay. That's why they're like, yes.
Okay.
Love you.
Your mom said.
Hello.
Yeah, this is my only son. Did you eat enough?
Yes.
What did you have for lunch?
I had a steak with asparagus and pasta.
Wow, from the school or you bought it in your business?
From the school.
Wow, they offer steak at school?
Yes.
Oh, Kushan,
Hey, that's where the 2050's going.
Yeah.
Okay, but your classes are fine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, honey, let's do homework now.
Okay.
To take your vitamin.
Okay.
Love you.
Alright. Just be careful, man. Alright, love you, bye.
Bye. End it.
I'm trying.
End the call.
You can spend it on anything in the city. Experiences, sightseeing, food, whatever you want.
With this credit card.
With that credit card.
Okay. But, like, actually,
So we just bought 4 tickets to the architecture tour.
Yeah.
Why'd you use one of your coupons on this?
well, I mean, I feel like I've been hearing it the entire time I've been here, and I'll be like, I'm gonna go on it, I'm gonna go. Holiness, please.
Everything you need to know about the history and architecture of this great city of Chicago. Please put your hands together for Josh, everyone.
When we talk about success, it starts with the beacon we put out into the world, the stories we tell. We spend months researching, reporting, and writing each magazine and every video. Still, what can get lost in that creative process is the human on the receiving end. It's one thing to tell ourselves, think about 20 views, then imagine 20 people sitting in a room, watching your video. It's another thing entirely to live by that metric of success, and to define success by changing even just one person's life.
So we just finished up the architecture tour. Where are we going next?
Do you have a coin?
I don't.
You don't have a coin? Do you guys have a coin?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at Discord, not Discord, my Steam thing, and I'm just editing my profile. And I'm figuring out, like, oh, what is the info box? Like, what is that or whatnot? But if you want to see a little bit of my little Steam thing, I'll record it. But otherwise, I think, okay, what it will be is that I will record I will record it and overall be cool. Anyhow, this is Ranker. Whoa. I would rank today, I want to say it's a B. And I'm going to say it's a B. It's a low B, but I think it's a certified B, even if I didn't do a lot of my assignments. Because 1, I did prep work, I didn't finish everything. And 2, I got a counting down. So I feel like that's a milestone right there. Okay, like I think in my heart's heart, that confrontation, boom, make it a B. Put it at a B. I'm going to edit this the next day. because I don't have a lot of classes until like in the evening. So hope that in the morning though, I work on concept stuff for my procedural thing and probably just grind that out. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. And don't be a moral narcissist.